All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. This is a big week for the Jets here, okay? A huge week for the New York Jets. We have joint practices with the Green Bay Packers. I love it. I mean, just generally speaking, I love the idea of joint practices, especially when you can practice with a team that was literally one play away, one fourth down call away from potentially being in the Super Bowl. Green Bay is a fantastic team. I really respect that organization. They have so much talent on offense, defense, and even within the coaching staff as well. So when I'm looking at it from a New York Jets perspective, this week is massive. Okay, but the funny thing is, as much as I'm looking forward to these joint practices, we have a game on Saturday against Green Bay, 4:30 Eastern kickoff on NFL Network 2, by the way. So good news there for everybody that has it, but let's take a look at this game and preview the matchup. So first things first, Robert Saleh has actually confirmed that Zach Wilson will play at least the same amount of time that he did against the New York Giants, possibly more, by a drive or two. So right off the bat, Zach Wilson has a really big challenge ahead of him because, I mean, we take a look at that Packers defense. It's loaded with talent. And of course, it's preseason, so we don't know exactly who's going to play. But we have guys like Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, one of my favorite players in the National Football League, Darnell Savage, Jerry Alexander, Kenny Clark, who else? Adrian Amos. Green Bay has a lot of pieces on the defensive side of the football. Okay, so again, preseason, we don't know who's exactly going to be out there, but I'll say this. And by the way, Eric Stokes, first-round rookie out of Georgia, a guy who has blazing speed. I'm really interested to see how he does against this Jets offense, but Zach's going to have a pretty big test here, right in front of him. Okay, we're not in MetLife Stadium anymore. First road game, legendary Lambeau Field, so it should be challenging, but at the same time, it should be fun as well. This is preseason, no strings attached. Wins, losses, they don't matter. Let's get Zach Wilson the reps. Let's get Zach Wilson the experience. Hopefully, okay, I don't know what, Green Bay's plans are, how they're going to attack the second preseason game, but hopefully Green Bay puts out some more defensive starters than the Giants did. I mean, we hardly saw anybody, and Zach Wilson looked great, but the only caveat to that game was, there was no James Bradbury, there was no Adoree Jackson, there was no Leonard Williams, there were countless guys missing. So I'm hoping Green Bay puts out some talent, because they have stars, okay? They have some really talented players on that defense. And I mean, man, if we can go up against some of the better defensive players in the league for Zach, I feel like that'll be huge. It'll be huge for his growth, his development, and possibly his confidence as well. So as far as the first drive is concerned, I feel like last week against the Giants was a great blueprint on what we should do. I feel like because this is preseason, it should just be copy and paste here. Establish the run early. Let's not make anything too challenging for Zach Wilson on the first drive. Simple stuff, high completion percentage types of throws, crossing patterns, bootlegs, screens, slants, nothing out of the ordinary, super vanilla stuff here. Let's get the train rolling. Let's get Zach in a rhythm early. And then once the second drive arrives, doesn't matter how the first drive ends, whether it's, 6 points, 3 points, a punt, turnover possibly. Once the second drive hits, that's when we start to push it a little bit. Throws that go beyond 10 yards, 15, maybe even 20 yards from the line of scrimmage. The one thing that we didn't see from Zach Wilson in Saturday's game against the Giants was him just unleash down the field. And Zach Wilson does have the potential to unleash 40, 50, 60-yard deep shot bomb. If Mike LaFleur wants to take a shot, the whole, obviously his brother's the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, Matt LaFleur, a guy who I really like. Funny enough, I actually wanted the Jets to hire Matt LaFleur back the season when we fired Todd Bowles, or I guess the offseason back when the Jets fired Bowles and brought in Gase. In between that, Matt LaFleur was actually my number one guy that I wanted. And it's just weird how things kind of work out now where, now we have Mike LaFleur on the staff. But anyway, I think if Mike LaFleur wants to take that deep shot with Zach Wilson, look for the second drive, look for the third drive on a 1st and 10 or something like that, on a second down play, and just let Zach uncork one down the field. But I do think it's important to give Zach some more time out there, more time than in the Giants game. If it's just for a drive or two, that's completely fine. But I do want to give Zach a little bit more responsibility this week, okay? Yeah, we looked awesome in the Giant game. That's great. But when we look at who we played, when we look at where we played, it was MetLife Stadium. Now we're in a completely different environment, going up against a lot better of a team, and there's a possibility that they can roll out more ones. So let's give them a little bit more responsibility, not too much. Let's not say, go play 3 quarters and go throw for 350, whatever, but a little bit more responsibility. I feel like that will be huge. Now, defensively, I feel like there's a ton of different things to look for here. Let's start with the defensive line. can this D-line continue this path of dominance? Can they? I mean, throughout training camp, Sheldon Rankins, Fadakasi, Carl Lawson, who else? Bryce Huff. These guys have been on an absolute tear. The defensive line so far, you know, obviously under Robert Saleh's guidance and tutelage, the defensive line play has been incredible. Did that translate against the New York Giants? It did. We had 10 quarterback hits. Carl Lawson flying off the edge. Bryce Huff had 2 sacks. Rashid from Oregon State had a sack and a half. We were constantly living in the backfield. Can this defensive line do the same against Green Bay? I believe they can, for the simple fact that nobody has been able to stop them. Nobody. I mean, we have Mekhi Becton on the roster, one of the best left tackles in the league. Now, I'm not saying he is the best, but he definitely has the potential to be the best one day. A really, really solid player. Carl Lawson has been eating him alive in certain practices, okay? Multiple practices here with multiple sacks. Lawson has been unstoppable. So, and then, of course, you know, against the New York Giants, Andrew Thomas, I mean, the Jets defensive line was doing their thing all night long. So I'm really going to be focusing in on this defensive line. The secondary as well. The New York Jets defensive backs going up against the Packers wide receiving core. Now, I will say this, we don't really know what's happening with the quarterback situation. Rodgers is probably not going to play. And then Jordan Love, I would expect Love to play, but he did hurt his shoulder. So just as a precautionary measure, the Packers could keep Love out. But at the same time, you know, Rodgers is the day one starter, obviously. So if Love is good to go, maybe he's not 100%, but if he's good to go, we could possibly see Jordan Love out there. It's still up in the air. So if Love is out there and he's throwing to guys like Devin Funchess and Allen Lazard, it'll be a big test for both our starting outside corners, Bless Austin and Bryce Hall. And I know on paper, you know, Funchess and Lazard, you know, it's not like Julio and DeAndre Hopkins, but these guys can play. I loved Funchess at Michigan. Just a big body, physical wide receiver. Just, this guy would constantly take on double teams back in Michigan. And then Allen Lazard was just an absolute tank at Iowa State. Funny enough, I actually had the opportunity to interview Lazard years and years ago, one of the nicest guys ever, but he's been really productive for Green Bay. Really productive. Now, again, he's not a top 10 guy, but still, I feel like it'll be an awesome challenge in terms of talent. But as far as the injuries are concerned, Elijah Vera-Tucker probably won't play. Elijah Moore probably won't play. Vinny Curry won't play. Quinnen Williams was practicing with the team. That's really encouraging, but I doubt he's going to play this Saturday. So, man, again, because it's preseason, we have to escape this game injury-free. The last thing we want are guys getting injured, guys getting beat up. And, you know, when it's preseason, mid-August, when guys are still trying to shake off the rust, we see a lot of injuries all across the league. We have to escape Lambeau Field injury-free. That would be that's a win in and of itself. So, at the end of the day, let's see how our young team and young coaching staff does against one of the best teams in the National Football League. Okay, so it should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Real quick before I end the video, this just popped into my head. As far as the kicking competition is concerned, as we all know, the Jets released Sam Ficken a couple days ago. So we only have one kicker on the roster, okay? I would expect Joe Douglas to add a kicker at some point before the start of the regular season. I doubt that we would just give the full reins to Amendola after 1 week of preseason, so we'll see what happens on that front. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are you going to be looking for in this preseason week 2 matchup against the Packers? Man, I cannot wait for it. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.